Well, looking for love isn't easy, and more people are giving up on the dating apps, prompting them to rethink their business strategy. Some apps even moving to prioritize helping people find friends. One popular platform, Bumble, pushing Bumble for Friends, targeting people moving to new cities or just wanting to push themselves to meet new people. Match, which owns Tinder, launching a similar service. Let's welcome now Dr. Keleigh Carmichael, clinical psychologist, to weigh in, and author of Dr. Keleigh's 10 Commandments of Dating. Can't wait to talk to you all about this, Doctor. You know, I like this idea. My immediate thought is this may actually be more successful for people looking for love, a more natural way to start a relationship. What do you make of this shift?
Yes, Kelly, I actually agree, especially since the Surgeon General has said that we are in an epidemic of loneliness. I'm all in favor of people using technology to reach out and find other people that they can connect with in real life.
Yes, especially when so many people are more transient with their careers. And there are so many things about online dating that I'm sure would spark anxiety. What do you think are the biggest elements that factor into that experience?
Well, yeah, so I think online dating is great. So in my book, Dr. Keleigh's 10 Commandments of Dating, I do encourage people to use that as a way to meet people. But at the same time, I think sometimes people turn to dating to actually fill a social need. And, it takes a certain amount of vulnerability to reach out and say, hey, I want some friends. Maybe my friend group from college is scattered and I want to meet some people. It takes a level of vulnerability. So when you go on the app and there's a bunch of other people there that are all in the same boat and they want to get together and they're just a few miles away from you, it's such an easy way to connect. And I really encourage people to do that because social media has, in a way, isolated us. And this is a way to turn it on its head and bring us together in real life.
Well, I think that's a great sentiment, and whether online or not, do you have tips or shortcuts that you found in your research to help you identify quickly, perhaps, if you do have a potential partner you're dating, if you would have long-term success with this person?
Sure. So, I mean, in dating, it's a lot more complicated because you need to make sure that you're dating someone that shares your life goals, whether they want to have kids, same religion, maybe all that kind of stuff. But with friendships, it's so much more open. So, really, in my Dr. Keleigh's 10 Commandments of Dating book, some of the same things still apply, though, which is, maybe set like a certain number of quote first dates that you want to go on, keep the first date short. With friends, especially the friendship dates, I encourage you to find something to do, even if it's like, we'll go for a walk or we'll try this restaurant, because friendships and relationships are formed through doing something. That's why it was so easy to make friends in college or at work, because you're working on something together. So even if it's a small activity like we'll check out this restaurant or we'll walk that trail, it gives you something to do, and that really helps the friendship to form.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your prediction? Do you think these apps for friendship will be more or less successful than the dating apps?
I think that they actually have the potential to be just as successful. And in fact, we might even see some overlap because people might even start off just as friends, and that takes the pressure off. And then just in a more natural, organic way, they might be able to discover that there's something more, as well as, like I mentioned, the requirements of a friendship are actually lower than for those, of a successful date or a life partner. So I think that they actually have a lot of capacity to make friends. I mean, what a person could do even is just say, oh, I'm going to start a standing like Sunday new girls brunch where I just invite all of my new girlfriends, and then we get to meet each other, they get to meet each other. I think there's a lot of possibilities.
We only have a few seconds left, but I wanted to get your take. Why do you believe there has been so much anxiety over some of these dating apps and people turning away enough that the businesses noticed it?
Well, I do think that there's a certain amount of, dating fatigue. People kind of binged on them, which is why in my book, I actually suggest that people go for, say, I'm going to do the app for 10 minutes a day, no more, no less, because otherwise they go down a total rabbit hole with it. They do it for hours and then they don't want to touch it for months. So one thing you can do is just give yourself a steady diet of like 10 minutes a day, no more, no less, so that you keep your hand in, but it doesn't become overwhelming.
All right. Everything in moderation. Appreciate that.
Exactly.
Doctor and author Keleigh Carmichael, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.